Okay, let's get to running the ball, because one of the questions I asked Kyle Shanahan today was, is Christian McCaffrey's touch, path projections, is it a sustainable plan? He's on pace for 400 touches, far and away the most on this team. Probably will be the most in the league. And what's he going to be in the playoffs? And maybe just see what he said. And he said, he's our starting running back, and we throw him the ball.
Kyle, Christian is on pace for almost 400 touches. Is that a sustainable thing? And was that your plan to feature him as much as you guys have in the first part of the year?
I mean, we treat him as our starting running back, so I don't really think of how many touches we want to get somebody in a year. That's week to week and how the game goes, but he gets a lot more extra because he gets thrown to so much in the passing game. But I'm happy with how he's being used. I'm happy with how he's been playing, and we'll see how the rest of the year goes.
So it's like, I know why he's got a lot of touches, but do you think it's a sustainable plan? And it's that he kind of dodged a little bit. What do you think, Jesse? If I asked you that question, running CMC and keeping him on this pace, is that the best plan for the Niners in their run to win the Super Bowl?
No, I don't believe that it is, because CMC has had 2 other seasons where he's produced like this amount of touches that he's on pace for now. After those 2 seasons, he fell apart for 2 seasons. And that was a much younger CMC. CMC is 27, I believe. That's when running backs start to that's like the peak, and then they start to go downhill. If you give him 400 touches at this age, I don't know that you are doing the best thing for this team this year at the end of the season, but B, you've got him bare minimum through next year before you have any outs on that contract. I don't know that he can be efficient next year if you give him this kind of workload. Like, that's not going to be easy to do at the age of 28. So no, I don't think it's the right thing. The problem is this, Larry, and one of the conversations that keeps coming up is Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason. And I think most people agree that Jordan Mason is probably the better runner at this point. He's the more physical runner. He looks a lot like Marshawn Lynch. We all understand that. And I agree with that point. But one thing that Mason does not have down is his assignments when he's not running the ball. There's a couple things that I notice. One, and I don't know if you remember this in training camp, but I remember making note of it and talking about it. He often is not on the same page with the quarterback when it comes to his routes. When he has choice routes, they're almost never on the same page. And that's bled into games here a couple times as well. Then he misses some blocking assignments. When everybody was mad that Kyle Shanahan threw 3 straight times in this game, when they were trying to run out the clock with like 4 minutes left or what have you, the reason that Brock got so much pressure so quickly and then ended up taking the intentional grounding was because Mason missed a blocking assignment. So if you can't trust Mason to do some of these other things, how can you play him as much as we would all want him to play? And then you've got Mitchell, who's always injured. So it's like, what's the alternative? You going to run Debo? Oh, wait, Debo's hurt all the time now too. So I just don't know what the other options are. I mean, on the surface, it's like, well, yeah, just give somebody else carries. Well, okay, but there are other things that come with playing running back that aren't just running the ball, and nobody seems to be able to either stay healthy or do those things effectively other than CMC. What do you do?
What do you want the running back split to be on Monday night? If you could pick your ideal running back split, I want to see Mason get at least a dozen carries. That's where I'm at, which would be about double, I think, what he's ever gotten. The last 2 weeks, he's gone for 5.4 and 6.9.
Yeah.
I mean, per carry on 15 carries and 2 touchdowns. And one of them was a 26-yard run. So that's all I'm saying. Feature the guy a little bit. 10 plays was good. He scored. What would he look like if he gave him 5 more plays, 10 more plays? That's all I'm saying. I think Mason's got to have a bigger role. I mean, he's big, he's physical, he's powerful. He can run through arm tackles, and he's kind of fast. I mean, I'm telling you, watching this guy, it's like he's got a gear that you wouldn't think a back that size to have. So, I mean, he's 225, but he can really get it rolling if you can get him 2 steps of momentum. I know they're probably concerned about the turnover potential fumbling wise. He did fumble a couple times in camp, but I think the upside's too great. Jesse, if it was up to me, it's funny. Kyle was asked about Mason this week, and he answered by saying that he liked Mitchell. So I think we know where Kyle stands. He really likes Mitchell, and I would expect Mitchell to get a lot of carries if CMC can't go. But what does Jordan Mason need to do to get on the field?
I think it's exactly what I just talked about. I think he likes Mitchell because of all the other things that come with playing the position. And that's really what it comes down to. Mason is clearly right now the better runner. Mason between the tackles might be the best runner on the team, and that's CMC included. Now, CMC is so damn versatile. He's a great pass catcher. He's great on outside zone, and he can run between the tackles as well. But Mason is just a different physicality. Let's also not forget that Mason's actually pretty. He's got good hands. I mean, we saw it in training camp. You've seen it bleed over a couple times in the game. He's got good hands. It's just, is he going to run the right route when he gets a choice? Is he going to be able to block and protect Brock Purdy? I mean, these things are also very important. If it was up to me, I would say CMC just doesn't play. I think Minnesota is dead in the water, regardless of whether CMC plays or not. Give him a week, get him ready for a Bengals team who will be coming off of a bye and is ascending right now. Joe Burrow's finally getting back into form. That's what I want to see is have him ready for that. Then they've got the bye week after that, gives them another week to rest. I think they can come out of that with him looking pretty good. But I wouldn't play CMC at all, and I would figure it out between Mitchell and Mason. And yes, if it's just carrying the ball, I would love to see Mason get a ton of touches. I think he can do a lot with it. I just don't know if Kyle trusts him to do those other things.
Let's get into all these supers. People are raining on you, Jesse. If Debo is out, do you think we see more Ronnie Bell or Ray McLeod? Seems we saw more McLeod in Cleveland. I would like to see Bell get more chances. He's come up big. I will say this from being at practice today, Ronnie Bell is not just a good receiver or a very good receiver. Ronnie Bell is a potentially great receiver. And what I mean by that is his footwork on the sideline is maybe the best on the entire team. And he does it every day. Every day he works the sideline to, make that catch, get his both feet in. I mean, the guy really works at the mechanics of bringing in the ball and getting both feet in. And he makes he challenges himself during practice reps to just cut it razor thin at the sideline. And the guy, I mean, I don't know that he's missed. So he's operating at a really high level. When he gets an opportunity to get some reps, you're going to see him produce. He's going to produce catches and touchdowns because his route running, hands, body control along the sideline, awesome. I mean, it's amazing. When people see what this guy does when he gets some run, it's going to be fun to watch. But he's got to get some run, and they got to put him on the field.
Yeah, it may be tough to do that this year, but it's clear. I mean, he's definitely surpassed anything that Danny Gray is going to be on this team most likely. And if it wasn't obvious before, I think it's pretty obvious now that Jennings will not be back with this team. Bell will have a much bigger role next year, much bigger role.
Though once again, when if you go back and look at that Cleveland game and you say, well, who did step up? I thought Jawan Jennings had a real nice game. I think he's a guy who did a few things for them. All right, what do you think though, as far as Ty Davis Price, Juszczyk, and there's a lot of people speculating the Niners may need to add a back, and I've heard people suggest running back is a need at the deadline. Where are you with the backs going into the rest of the year?
I mean, I think I'm fine with the backs. I have no idea what TDP is. I do know that he had a good little training camp, but outside of that, I don't know. I mean, he's like a ghost. Does he even exist? Is he even on this roster? I mean, he doesn't dress. He hasn't played worth a lick, hardly any this whole season. Like, I don't know what he is. I mean, is this just another third round running back draft pick that is going to the wasteland? I'm not sure. I don't think they need to go get another one. I mean, all of them are relatively healthy. CMC may miss a week or two, but it's not a long-term injury. You have 4 on the roster. Like, I don't think they need to get another one.